Chelm was a small town like many in Poland, except for two very important differences. The first was that the townspeople there were so foolish that they all believed they were the wisest people on the earth. The second was that they had 13 commandments instead of the usual 10. This is the tale of how they received 3 extra commandments. One evening, Yankl and his wife Gittele were sitting in their tiny slanted house at the top of the steepest hill in Chelm. All was quiet. Their many sons and daughters were asleep. Yankl sighed deeply. Gittele asked, "What's wrong?" Yankl said, "In a couple of weeks it will be Shavuot. Everyone will celebrate Moses receiving the 10 Commandments. Just this morning, the rabbi reminded us that, because the Torah and the commandments are sweet on the tongue, on Shavuot we should eat food prepared with milk and honey. That means blintzes. But we cannot afford ingredients for blintzes." This was true. Yankl earned very little as a malamed, a teacher, and with so many children to clothe and feed, he and Gittele had little to spare. Gittele sighed too. "Oh, if only we had a few coins, then I would make the best blintzes." They sat lost in thought, imagining blintzes stuffed with cheese, smothered in sour cream, and dripping with honey or strawberry preserves. Suddenly, Yankl jumped up. "I know what we can do!" he cried. "Remember that old trunk that my great-aunt Fruma gave us as a wedding gift?" Gittele wrinkled her nose. "Who could forget it? It's so big and awful that it's been in the backyard since she gave it to us." "That old trunk is going to solve our problem," said Yankl. They ran to the backyard. Yankl examined the ugly, dirty trunk from all angles. Then he told Gittele his idea. "I'll make a small hole in the top of the trunk. Every day we'll each drop in a kopeck. In a couple of weeks, we'll open the trunk and use the coins to buy ingredients for blintzes." Gittele clapped her hands. "What an excellent plan! Yankl, you are one of the wisest men in this town." Gittele and Yankl washed and cleaned the trunk and even greased the very squeaky wheels. When they finished, Yankl cut a hole in the top and dropped in a kopeck. Gittele dropped in a coin too. "We'll be eating blintzes in no time," said Yankl. The next afternoon, Gittele fished a kopeck out of her apron pocket and went to the trunk, ready to drop it in. But suddenly she thought, "Why should I put in a coin when Yankl brings home money from his teaching every day? Let him do it." So she put the coin back into her pocket. That night, when Yankl came home, he searched in his vest pocket for a kopeck. He was about to drop it into the trunk when he thought, "Why should I put in a coin if Gittele will add one every day? She must have plenty of money left over after taking care of household expenses. With what she puts in, surely there will be enough for the blintzes." So he put the coin back into his pocket. And this went on for several days. On the morning before Shavuot, Gittele, Yankl, and their children gathered in front of the trunk. Yankl lifted the lid, and everyone peered in. "We have been robbed!" gasped Yankl. "Gewalt!" Gittele wailed. "Those thieves left us only 2 coins!" But then, out of the corner of her eye, she looked at Yankl. "Tell me the truth, Yankl. Did you drop in your coins?" "Well, no. I knew yours would be enough." Yankl's eyes widened. "You mean you didn't drop in your coins either?" "Well, if you had put in your coins, we would have had enough," snapped Gittele. Yankl groaned. "Now we won't eat blintzes, and it's all your fault." "If you weren't so stingy, this never would have happened," Gittele yelled. She jabbed Yankl in the chest with her finger. He stepped back, tripped, and lost his footing. "Help!" he cried, grabbing Gittele by her apron as he tipped over into the trunk. Gittele fell into the trunk on top of him. The lid slammed shut, and slowly the trunk rolled out of the yard and down the hill. As the trunk rolled onto the crowded street, it gathered speed. "Oi! Oi!" Yankl yelled. "Gewalt! Gewalt!" Gittele shouted. People scrambled to get out of the trunk's way. It narrowly missed an old woman, who made a sign to ward off the evil eye. "A dibbuk!" she cried. "There's a demon in the trunk! I heard it yelling! The forces of evil have come to Chelm!" A crowd of scared, but very curious, people ran after the trunk. At last it reached the bottom of the hill and rolled to a stop in front of the synagogue. The rabbi, who had been decorating the synagogue with Shavuot greens, looked up in surprise. He approached the trunk and heard muffled sounds coming from inside. As he reached out to lift the latch, a man yelled, "Don't touch it, Rabbi! There are dibbuks inside!" A woman added, "If they're let loose, we'll be lost!" The rabbi's gentle face paled. He reached for his prayer book and turned page after page, looking for a prayer to banish the dibbuks from Chelm. When he finally found it, he closed his eyes, swayed back and forth, and mumbled the words. The townspeople stepped back, just in case the prayer hadn't done its job. Ever so slowly, the rabbi opened the trunk, and out popped Gitele and Yankl. Everyone stared. "How did you come to be in this trunk?" asked the rabbi. When he had heard the story, the rabbi sighed. "Go home, everyone. This has been a terrible experience for all of us, so I must think of a way to prevent it from happening again." The rabbi went to his study and consulted his books. All night he searched for an answer. After a sleepless night, he came to a decision. The following morning, during Shavuot services, right after the 10 Commandments were read, the rabbi announced 3 new commandments. They were written in big black letters on a board and placed at the entrance to the synagogue. "Thou shalt allow no malamed of Chelm to live on a hill. Thou shalt allow no malamed of Chelm to make blintzes. Thou shalt allow no malamed of Chelm to own a trunk with wheels." And they are there still, reminding everyone that Chelm is home to the world's wisest fools.